flight, so we were back in the Netherlands, and as promised, I had to do a review on the travels because I had such a weird autistic strategy to do the travels. So I'm gonna do a little review on how the travels went. So I had a little plan to knock myself out because I don't hate traveling, I don't hate plane flights, I just hate waiting. Like the plane flight itself. I had to fly from Bali to Amsterdam with one stop in Qatar, and I just hate waiting. I hate being unproductive. I want to either sleep or be productive. So then I want to optimize for that. So what I did is I flew at 7 p.m. So the day prior, I downed the 3 espresso at 7 p.m. So I would have worked into the night. And then I only slept 4 hours, so I was tired. So I could sleep the next day at 7 p.m. when I had the flight, right? So I slept overnight in the plane. And so in the morning in Qatar and the other plane flight from Doha to Amsterdam, I could be productive. That made sense to me. That's what I tried to do. And how I tried to do that was by drinking beers on the airport in Bali. So before that 7 p.m. flight, I was already sleep deprived on purpose. And then the plan was to drink some beers to be even more tired, to fall asleep and to skip the flight as in time. So I want to explain how it went and little story time. So there were two main issues why I wanted to do this, because the first reason was it was in the night, so you want to sleep overnight. That makes most sense, and then your rhythm keeps the same, because then you can be productive on the second flight, the more daytime flight. The other reason was that the first plane flight from Bali to Qatar was in a very small seat. The plane was already fully booked. There was just one spot left in a normal seat, so I didn't have an option to buy extra leg space. In the plane flight from Doha to Amsterdam, I had a I had a seat with extra leg space. I don't want to experience that first flight, if that makes sense, because it's super uncomfortable. I'm 6'7", I'm 2 meters tall. So a normal plane seat is like terror to me. That's literally like a nightmare. I hate it. It's painful as fuck. It's not comfortable. So I want to knock myself out. So I drank a bunch of beers, I think 4 beers at the airport before boarding at 7 p.m. And was it a good idea? That's the question that you're probably asking yourself. Was it a good idea, and can I recommend to do the same thing? In general, yes. But for me, I was in the window seat for the plane flight to Qatar from Bali. So if you drink a bunch of beers, like at 7 p.m. we boarded, and I was obviously kinda half tipsy, kinda very tired and shit. So I kinda half passed out. I was very light sleep, but I was sleepy. So I skipped the first 4 hours ish. But if you drink beers, and I never drink beer, but for this plane flight I made an exception. If you drink beer, you have to pee. And I was in a window seat, which is super annoying in a plane flight if you have to pee and everyone has to stand up. So because of the beer, I had to do that twice in that flight, which was super annoying. I cannot recommend. So that sucked, even though the first 4 hours I slept, so that was chill. I do think that you could have reached the same results with just being very sleepy and just eating on normal times and maybe abusing melatonin a little bit. I think you could have had the same results without the peeing, which would have just kept you in a more comfortable position. And the other main negative from that whole experiment that I did was that if you drink alcohol, you feel very good in those first 3 hours, 4 hours, because of the alcohol. But after that, you become very dehydrated and your brain starts hurting. So after that first 4 hours, which kind of went by easily, my brain just started hurting. I was super dehydrated. I had to pee and just felt uncomfortable. My gut started to play up. No, the alcohol was not a really good idea. But if you want to skip a plane flight and you think alcohol is a good idea, then go fully drunk if you have leg space and can go to the toilet quite easily. Then I would still say maybe it might be a good idea, even though it's super degenerate. If you want to be healthy, don't. But if you are very close to the toilet and you have the leg space, then it might be worth it. That's my degenerate advice. And to come back on the caffeine, did that help to make me tired? Definitely, yeah. Because the caffeine wired me up to like work overnight, and then I still fell asleep at 4 a.m. I guess. And it kind of still kept me wired after waking up till I was on the airport. And then it kind of started tapering off and kind of started going away. So then I became really tired immediately, which was amazing because then you're very sleepy and time just goes by very quickly. So if I have to from scratch, what would be my advice if you have to go through a 24-hour travel day and you want to be productive? Either or sleepy, look for you like what's the daytime flight and what's the nighttime flight, and drink the coffee before the daytime flight. So then you are productive on the daytime flight, and then by the time the nighttime flight comes by, then the caffeine is already worked out. Or the other way around, if you have the nighttime flight first, it's easy anyway. So definitely use the caffeine if you're into that. If you like using caffeine, do that, especially to boost your productivity on the flight or on the airport or whatever. For sleep, I would say get yourself sleep deprived, definitely. That really helped. That makes everything so easy because you're very tired and you can just close your eyes, listen to music, and time goes by very quickly. And you have more time prior to be productive because in the time that you don't sleep, because you're sleep deprived, so you didn't sleep the 8 hours, you can also be productive in those hours. So that helps. Don't drink the alcohol. Only if you have the extra leg space and you really want to, knock out, you could do it. Maybe even drink more alcohol on the plane to keep the buzz until you land, and you just need to drink a bunch of water. That's my advice. Most people would never really try something like this because they're not that autistic specific with their plane flights and they're not that aware of their productivity and in general their whole mental state, their whole how their body works. If you are one of these persons and you're still watching, then I would say, yeah, that's the best strategy to use. I will try this to the flight to Colombia again, like the more optimal strategy that I would use, and then I will update you again. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.